Hello and welcome, Marshall High School students. This video is to help you guys out because we are going to be taking the PSAT or SAT, depending on your grade level, very soon. And since it is going to be entirely on the Chromebooks, just like how it was in the fall, I want to make sure that everybody is aware of all of the different tools that are going to be available to you. So let's get started. Everybody has access to be able to turn on color contrast, aka dark mode. If you guys prefer that on your phones, you can turn that on for the test as well. You can zoom in on your screens. This is super helpful, especially in the math section if there are diagrams. Everybody has access to a calculator that is directly built into the test, so we don't have to hand you a physical calculator for the test. There's a math reference sheet built right in. There's an annotator, a highlighter, and a notepad, so you can highlight and annotate on your screen for the English section. You can mark certain questions for review if you don't want to deal with them at the time and you want to come back to them if you have time later, so that you can get those points on your easy questions and then come back to the hard ones. There's an answer eliminator if you want to be able to cross out certain answers and come back to them later, so that you can use process of elimination in order to figure out what your right answer is going to be. You can use the question navigator to quickly take a look at how many questions you have left and which ones you have marked for review, and navigate quickly back to certain ones without having to use the back button and the forward button and waste a lot of time. And you can expand the passage and move it around in order to look at the item or the questions, make them bigger or smaller. So let's get into it. Let's see what these buttons look like and make sure that everybody knows where to find these. Again, these tools are available to everybody. You don't have to have accommodations for these. So let's get into it. Here we go. All right. When you start the test, your directions for the type of question or the module are going to be right there on the screen. You're going to have this close button right here. But if you close it out too quickly and then you go, oh no, hang on, I didn't read the directions fast enough, I'm a little confused what I should do, your directions are going to be available right up here, and you can click on this drop down and it'll pop right up for you again. Super easy. Next up, I'm going to have to keep moving my video. This is going to be awful. Okay, next up, let's talk about crossing out answers. So in a multiple choice, if you're not 100% sure of your answer right away, it's really nice to be able to cross out ones that you know are totally wrong. So looking at this, I'm going, okay, this answer that says infrequent, quickly achieved blank use, I know infrequent use, like we would never make a sentence like that. That is ridiculous, right? So if I was on paper, I'd be crossing that out because that answer is terrible. However, you can totally do that on the test as well. So you're going to click this button where it says ABC and has a little strike through it. And you're going to get these buttons here. So if you click the strike through next to the letter, it's going to look like this, right? So it's struck through whatever the option is that you picked. But then if you go, hang on, widespread actually makes kind of sense. I didn't mean to click that, You can click the undo button and it goes back to looking like this, right? You have all of your answer choices available. So that's your strike through, your option to eliminate some answers so that you're only looking at the ones that might be your right answer. And then in order to select an answer, you click the letter next to it. Okay, mark for review. So I always tell my students when it comes to a timed test, right? We see this timer up here. You always want to do your easy questions first because an easy question is worth just as many points as a hard question, right? So if you're looking at a question going, oh my God, I am going to be sitting here fighting these answers and trying to comb through every single one and figuring out this vocab, don't do that right away, right? Do your easy questions first, knock those out, get your points, and then come back to that one later. But don't forget to come back to it, right? So what you're going to do, if you have a question like that, is you're going to click this bookmark button to mark it for review, and it's going to look like that. It's going to turn red for you, right? So then when you're done with your easy questions, once you've answered the questions that you go, oh yeah, I got this. Oh yeah, this one's super simple. You're going to come back to the ones that you marked for review, In the navigator, they look like this. They have a little bookmark on them for you. And there's a handy dandy key for you. So you have this map reference little thing that tells you exactly where you are right now. And then your marked for review questions have the little bookmarks on them for you. So then when you're completely done with the easy ones, you go back and go, oh yeah, there's these ones that I marked for review with the little red bookmarks. Then with your extra time, you go back and do those. That way you make really excellent use of your time and get as many points as you can. All right, let's talk about the annotator. So as you're reading through a passage or a paragraph, sometimes you have thoughts that are going to help you answer a question, right? So you're looking at this and going, oh, I think this is probably an important thing that I want to pay attention to, but I don't want to really reread this whole thing when I go to answer the question. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click this annotate button after I've pulled my cursor over and highlighted this thing that I think is important and I want to make a note on. So I'm going to click the annotate button. And it's going to highlight that section for me. And I have a spot to type here. So I'm going to go ahead and type, oh, I think this is important, or whatever it is that I want to say about it, right? So I say important phrase, I type that. And then it goes back to allowing me to answer the question. But then if I click on it or roll over it, I'm not 100% sure. You'll have to test that for me. It pops up with the little thing that I wrote. My annotations are right there for me, making it nice and easy to see what my thoughts were when I go to answer this question. Next up, the timer. Some people like to know how much time they have left every single moment, right? And for some people, this is going to be incredibly stressful. But fear not, you can hide this. Click the hide button, goes away. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to think about it. But if you go, oh no, hang on. Do I have time left? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot of, just click show. It comes back. Show hide. Super easy, super fast. Next, okay. At least once they're going to give you a table that you're going to have to read, or a graph, or something that's going to be, some type of image, right? So when they give you that, we're over here with that. And then we have the question over here. You've got these handy buttons that are going to allow you to make one side bigger than the other. It just allows you to click and drag and move stuff over so that you're able to see everything, a little bit more easily. So here we go. Once you get to the end of a section, so we talked about this a little bit earlier with the mark for review. Once we get to the end of a module or a section, you won't be able to move on to the next module until the amount of time that they give you expires. But that's good news for you because you were super smart. You did the easy ones first and you marked the hard ones for review, right? So that's when you're going to go back with this extra time that you have and you're going to deal with all these little red bookmarks and this one over here that you kind of forgot about. No big deal. You've got all this extra time left because you did exactly what I suggested in this video and you marked stuff for review and you got all your points first. Right? So that's what you use your time for at the end. So once the module finishes up for you, the time expires, it's going to move you on automatically. You don't have to do anything. Don't refresh, don't exit. Just let the computer do its thing. It knows what it's doing. Trust it. All right. When it's break time, let me move myself down. Okay. When it's break time, it's going to give you a specific amount of time during the break, and it's going to time you, right? So this is a great time to go to the bathroom, get a snack, get a little drink of water. You don't exit the app. You do not close the Chromebook. You want to make sure that you're not making any noise, bringing any food or drink into the test room, because your time is your specific time, okay? It's not going to be perfect to the second, the same as another person's time. Ideally, we're all starting at the same exact moment, but it's going to be off by a few seconds. So if somebody's sitting there down to the wire trying to make sure that they answer every single question, don't ruin their groove, right? Don't harsh their moment. So that's when you want to go to the bathroom, but make sure that you're back by the time because your test is going to come back automatically. Okay. There we go. All right, let's talk math. So we have a calculator button right up here. Let me move myself again. You have a calculator button right up here. Click on that, and you have this lovely graphing calculator available for you, right built into the testing screen. Whoop. Math reference sheet. So, super great during the geometry section, especially. We have common equations, right? We have geometric figures, etc. This stuff is built right in. Click on reference, it's going to pop up for you. So if you don't have c squared equals a squared plus b squared memorized or knowing exactly what that looks like in real life in your head, it is right here in the reference sheet for you. It's still a good idea to know these things, but realistically, there's an understanding among the test makers that what you need to know is how to use them, right? So this test is testing, do you know how to use them? It's right there in the reference sheet. Make use of it. We have, what slide am I on? 27. Okay. Let me move myself again. There we go. All right. So in the math section, some of it is multiple choice, right? But some of it is also going to be a student produced response where you actually have to type in a number. So there's a section where you type it in, and then it's going to preview what your answer looks like. Every time I click on myself. There we go. It's going to preview what your answer is going to look like. So if you type in 17, it's going to give a little answer preview. So you make sure that you didn't miss a decimal point or miss an X or whatever it is. Okay, this is true on any Chromebook and anything using Chrome, actually. The control key, hold down the control key. If you hit the plus key, it's going to zoom in. If you hit the minus key, it's going to zoom out. So if you're looking at something like this, and you're going, yeah, this needs to be bigger, or this needs to be smaller so I can see the whole thing. What are we doing? Control plus zooms in, control minus zooms out. All right. If you click on the little 3-dot menu for more, and you click on the question mark for help, there are some help articles for you. However, I am hoping that having watched this video and taken the little test afterwards, yes, there's going to be a test, that some of these things you will already know and you will not need to click on. For example, annotation tool, told you about that. Testing timers, you know how to show and hide that. In-app calculator, you already know how to use that, etc. No penalty for guessing. That is a new one on the SAT. It used to be that you would lose points for guessing. Not anymore. You don't lose points for wrong answers, so it's in your best interest to answer every single question. If you run out of time at the end and you have 5 minutes and 10 questions, answer it even if you don't know. Try not to guess if you don't have to, but answer it because you don't lose points for a wrong answer, but you don't gain any points if you don't answer it. All right. You can technically take a break that is not part of the scheduled breaks, such as if you have a bathroom emergency, right? Ideally, you don't want to do that because you will lose testing time. It says, okay, you need to take a break. You understand you will lose testing time. So you have this super bathroom emergency. Your timer is still running. Ideally, don't do that. Arrive to school on time, go to the bathroom before the test even starts, use the breaks, take care of that stuff, etc. Right? But if you have an emergency, you can do that. So this is how you do that. 3-dot menu, unscheduled break. You have to check the box. You understand that you will lose testing time. Take an unscheduled break. Okay. So as it's saying, if this module go down. If this module ends while you're on the break, you'll be taken to the next module. Like, it will keep progressing your test. You will be losing time. But if you have an emergency, you can do that. Okay. Let's talk dark mode. So, if you're on a Chromebook keyboard, which all of you are, if you click the search button and the control button and the H button, it is going to put it in dark mode for you. So if that is easier on your eyes, if that is something that you are used to because you have your phone and all your devices in dark mode, congratulations, that is available for you. You can absolutely do that during the test, which I am stoked about because I have been trying to put my laptop in dark mode for years. Okay, so once again, when the module ends, it is going to save your work. It is going to move you on automatically. Don't do anything. It's going to say, do not refresh, do not exit. Just hands off, let it do its thing. The computer knows what it's doing. Trust it. When the exam ends, again, don't do anything. The computer knows what it's doing. Let it do its thing. Trust it. When you see this screen, your test is complete. Answers have been submitted. Congrats, you're done. Take a deep breath. Congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You finished. All right. But again, your time is different from other students. You might be off by a few seconds, maybe even a few minutes, depending on how the breaks shook out. So the proctor is going to tell you when it's time to go. You got to just chill. You got to be quiet. Other students may still be testing. So just make sure that, again, if somebody is down to the wire on their time, we're not like making life hard for them as they're testing. Just